Hey, welcome back to the channel, guys. This is probably going to be a little shorter video. I'm thinking you guys are probably kind of sick with this whole engine rebuild thing. I know a lot of videos are skip a bunch of stuff, but I was just trying to make it as much detail as possible. But I guess with this rebuild right now, because having troubles getting parts, but I got to take some measurements on all these bearing journals. They look like they're pretty close, like they're really nice shape, but I just got to see how close they are to standard. And if they are, that's added bonus. That means the crank is in perfect condition, which is good for future reference anyway. But yeah, because on the book here, because here, like on the 4000 series, like the connecting rod journals are 2.998 to 2.999, and the main bearings are 3.7515 to 3.3725. Yeah, it doesn't give you a whole bunch of variation from minimum to maximum, but you gotta figure they're pretty forgiving. So I'm gonna set you up here, take a few measurements to get this thing started here, and I probably won't bore you with taking all the measurements, and then I'll bring you back. I'll set you up here, take a few measurements, and then I'll be writing them all down anyway, and we'll see what we come up with. Okay, hold on. Hey, and it's not real expensive micrometers, but I really don't like these because they're really hard to read. I'll try blowing this up a little bit. There. It's easier for me to see it through the camera as opposed to just looking at it. Got to put my glasses on and have a light too. Hey, so I'm going to kind of measure this up here. Might as well have my flashlight handy here too. I'll just stick it on top of my hoist because I just got it, just my crank doesn't fall over. Yeah, using 2 micrometers on here. I got, for the smaller one, I got one of the Fowler digital ones. I like this here mechanical digital micrometers. It's really simple when you're easy for me to see, whereas this that's the biggest one I got in that style, so I'll go with this. It'll have to do. Okay, let's see where we're at. Well, instead of measuring them all separately, I'm just going to kind of go down the line here and okay, that one's exact same amount of drag. That's good. That just saves me a bunch of time once I get it set up on one. Same amount of drag. So yeah, I'm thinking, yep, exactly the same amount of drag, and don't even have to adjust it. You just same amount of drag on there. So that speeds up the process here a bit. Okay, last one down at the bottom here. Ugh. Unbelievable. Exactly. So this crank is never, I'm just going to see what the actual measurement is here. Okay, so that's, I'm going to turn the light on here so I can actually read the thing. Okay, so it's 3 inches. I'll mark that first. Main journals. Well, might as well put, you're all the same, so might as well put it all the same. Okay, so we got 3 inches, 350, 70, 71, 372. See if you guys can actually see that. Yeah, because it's a 3 to 4 inch micrometer. Come on, focus. There we go. So I can see the 350. Yeah, it's actually easier to see through the camera, you know that, eh? So I've got the 350, 70, 71. Where's my finger? Yeah, there we go. 350, 370, 371, 372. And I'm thinking that's pretty close. And maybe 1/10. 372.1 we'll go with. And what does it say on here? 372.1. Well, I'm thinking it's definitely brand new. Okay, it's brand new crank on here. I think this crank's been replaced because there's their 3.3715 to 3.3725, and I said what, 3721, if I'm not correct, or if I'm right on that. Where the heck did you go? Yeah, if I'm at 3721, it's just about below the maximum, and it's still good for the minimum. So that's perfect. So now check the other ones here. We'll see what we come up with this. The heck's it supposed to be at? 2.998 to 999. Huh. Well. I'll just lock this thing and just go down the rest of the lineup. Yeah, I'm thinking the last time this engine's been rebuilt, it's definitely not a question now in my mind, because I get the exact same amount of drag. Doesn't matter where I catch it for. Yeah, they're all exactly the same. One more. Well, it's supposed to be 2.998 to 2.999. And let's see if you can see this. 2.9985. So I'm right in between. Perfect. That works for me. Now I have to write this down. 2.998. Well, that went a whole lot faster than I expected. I'll shut this light off here. Hey, so I guess we'll shut this here part down. I guess we'll start you guys back out again. Okay, now we're going to probably move on, start tearing into the head here, and I'll see if you guys can kind of see part of it there anyway. I'll set you guys up in a while here. But yeah, I'm gonna just, all I'm gonna end up doing with the head, probably just kind of tear it all down. It's not real horrible shape. Like in here, it's all nice and clean, but I just want to, because I'm going to get some debris in that, and I want to just check my valves and whatnot. I cleaned some of just scraped off a little bit of the carbon off of this number 1, and I took a wire brush, and this here number 6 was the one that had the carbon in it, and it cleaned up. So it doesn't take much to get the carbon out of these holes here for the injectors. There, that's a better focus. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, I'll pull the valves out. I want to just check because I want to get inside, clean all these water jacket ports out, and then blast it out, and then put it back together, because I think I want to probably put, just judging by some of this kind of oily stuff, I'm thinking, you know, maybe the thing used a little bit of oil, but there was a little bit of leakage, or else some of it was from, maybe that was a kind of an afterthought, because the ventilator on the block there would suck oil out of the crankcase a little bit, but it'd end up in the intake because the inside of the intake had a bit of oil in it. Either or, I'll get her all cleaned up. Like I said, I'll start pulling that apart, and I'll bring you back when I start setting up to pull that apart. Hey, see you guys in a bit. Okay, I guess we'll get working on this head here and see if I can. I don't know if this here spring compressor is going to work. It doesn't kind of fit in these holes properly, but well, I guess we'll have to. Oh, okay. I guess I don't need to go in that far. Maybe just go in that little bit. There we go. Well, that was easy. I was expecting a lot worse. So that's the exhaust valve stem. Seems pretty good in there. Yeah, aside from like a fair amount of carbon buildup on here, but judging by the seat, I'll have to inspect the seats later. But okay, so I'm going to mark this here out, and let's see. Guess I'll just, you know, poke a hole in there. Oh, it works. I just stick them in a cardboard box, so that works, but I'm going to have to, I'm not sure if the intake and the exhaust keepers are the same, but I'm going to try to keep the keepers in the same spots. Probably best anyway. I'll just tuck them in beside, or else I have to drop it in the springs inside, so I shouldn't lose them that way. Until I get it all, the rest of the head all cleaned up. Come on. Well, that didn't work so good. Hmm. Let's see. There we go. Kind of stuck on there a little bit. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if these, I guess I should have left the other ones out for a second or three so I can kind of compare them. Because otherwise, if there's no real difference on them, okay, so that's the intake one. There's no rotator on the intake. That's pretty basic. Yeah, go figure. Dealer told me that there was no valve stem seals, just like the small block Chevys in here. Kind of a Teflon seal. I don't know. Personally, I don't think there doesn't look like it's got any wear on it, really. No, it's got a nice fit to it, so I don't know. We'll have a look-see, but I'll see how much they're worth. But yeah, otherwise, just a little bit of gunk on here and stuff like that, from obviously from slobbering, but there's no real wear per se on the valves, judging by the seat or the valve itself. Looks like it was seated pretty good. Yeah, I'm just gonna. That's an intake, so I guess realistic. I don't have to poke them in a hole here. I can just stand them upright. That's probably just easier to do it that way. Yeah, I'm thinking the valve stems are the same, or the keepers. Yeah, I just stuff them in like that. Okay. First one is exhaust and intake. Yeah, as long as I know which one goes in which hole anyway. I want to kind of keep them back in the same order. Well, aside from a little bit of cleaning, I'm pretty sure these, I'll take a closer look at the valve seats after. If that's all this head needs is just a little bit of a cleanup, that'll be definitely an added bonus. I don't know how well you guys can actually see it. It seems to be kind of dark on there, isn't it? Gonna shed a little bit of light on there. Is that going to work for you guys? Kind of put it behind the camera so you shouldn't get a glare off of it. But anyways, yeah, so you got actual valve stems like a GM engine. So yeah, I'll probably just put a little cap on it, because right now they look to be in good shape. I just want to clean all the other crud off of it. So now when I go to clean the ports out, because the ports are pretty dirty, I think I spent a lot of time just idling around and slobbering. I don't know, personally, I would have thought these valve springs would have been a whole lot heavier. I've never had one of these apart before, so. Just ever so slight amount of movement on the valve stems there, so. Once it's all cleaned up, I'll put a dial indicator on it. I'll have a look, see what it's doing that way. You know, like I said, I've done enough small block Chevys and stuff like that. I'd swear the valve springs are more tension on some of those with the double valve springs. You know, just a little gummed up, but otherwise the valves are still seating. So that's good. Yeah, it's going to take me a few weeks to get this all. Okay, which one is this? Must be exhaust. Yeah, as long as I got the right cylinder. They're two different size valves, so one's not going to fit in the other. We're getting you guys way here. Took a bull in the china shop, apparently. Well, that's definitely going a whole lot better than I thought anyway. But yeah, it's just too bad they're going to have problems getting the rebuild kit. Because right now, with all these tariffs, I wish I would have seen the problems with this a couple months ago. But I guess that's my fault. Now I'm going to end up with probably 25% more cost on it. Because the kit well, the cheapest kit I could get was, it's a Reliance one. I don't know how good they are, so. But a lot of people seem to like them, so. I can't see the bells. There we go. Yeah, it's definitely not something you want to be doing at this This point in politics right now, it just seems like everything is like I don't even want to get into the politics end of it. Like I'll just sort of keep my thoughts to myself on politics, so we'll just leave it at that. There's no point getting into that. There's enough people talking politics, so I don't need to get my mouth into it. So I just concentrate on my old junk and stuff like that, and just do what I can do, I guess. What the heck is this one? That's an intake. Yeah, I guess once I get it all cleaned up, then I'll have to see what the seats all look like. Yeah, I figure it's just a good way to stand them up. Just throw them together upside down like that, and I just pick the cover off or the rotator off on the exhaust here, drop the keepers in there. Safe storage for now. Put it in my little cardboard boxy thing here. And that'll give it to me for safekeeping. That's not bad. I don't know if you guys want to watch the rest. Get them all out here and then before I shut her down. I guess I'll just take a few more minutes here anyway, so gives you guys something to watch anyhow. I said I'm still a little bit peeved that I lost all that footage, but well, I guess that's what ends up happening when you've got cheap camera gear. But actually it wasn't more the computer that was the issue. That's where I was having the issue, where I lost all my footage, and then when I was trying to transfer it over, and all of a sudden it all disappeared. So I'm not sure what happened there, but all I know is it set me back a long time. That's why for about 3.5 months I didn't have a video at all. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like, and there's some days, well, I just get busy doing stuff that I can't video, so, or else don't have time. So I'm gonna try to video more the stuff that I do with stuff like this. Like I said, when I did the back end of the tractor, yeah, if I would have thought about YouTube then, I would have recorded that, because I would have made for some interesting footage with taking a transmission all apart, putting all new bearings in it, and synchronizers and stuff like that. Not all new bearings, but they got 3 new bearings in there, but you've got to pretty much pull it all apart. The only thing that didn't come apart is the main differential gear, because that part was untouched, so I just left well enough alone. But everything else seemed to have been tinkered with, so. Come on, yeah, it's unfortunate because I would have made some, and then of course my phone died where I had some pictures on it, so I lost all the, I think I might have recovered some of the pictures off it, but that's very few. But otherwise, for some reason the phone just up and decided to die for no apparent reason. It went into sleep mode and went to turn the screen back on, and that was it. It didn't work no more. I had to go get a new phone. Because yeah, that's all I'm using for a camera right now, because I don't have a GoPro or anything like that, and it's not like I'm making any money off of this. Just kind of for give you guys something to watch, and kind of works double duty, because now if I forget how to put it back together, guess what? At least I can go watch my own videos then, apparently. That'll be kind of helpful getting up there in age, so won't be long to start getting forgetful, I guess. So it's kind of a double bonus. Yeah, I guess that's the whole age thing anyway, you know, you start, so far so good, I can kind of remember most stuff anyway. It's getting up there in age, but I don't want, otherwise some of the health issues I'm having, you know, don't really want to talk too much about it, but it makes it a little hard for me to do some of this stuff, and so I gotta take lots of breaks. But, so there we go. We got her all tore down there. Now we're just pop the guys out of here, and but yeah, see, it's got these. I don't know. There we go. Now you can see them. But you got the intake's got these rubber oil seals, and yet according to John Deere, he said nope, they don't have them. But otherwise, yeah, you can see how kind of oily it is inside the ports, especially on the intake ones, so I'm not sure. But yeah, this here's that one, I don't know if you guys can see it. Try putting some light on the backside, maybe. Oh, there you go. But that's the one that had that double washer on it for the injector, number 6. And but it doesn't look any worse for wear than any of the other ones, so I just got to clean them all out. But otherwise, once I get clean all that carbon stuff out, but yeah, in the meantime, it's got all the valves just sitting in the box. I just kind of wrote all over it here, you know, which position they go in, and just set them down for safekeeping anyway. But alrighty, I'm gonna leave it here, I guess, and gonna shut her down. But yeah, it's gonna definitely be a while before I get the parts to put this engine, but it's going to take me probably a couple weeks just to clean stuff. Being the fact it's cold outside and can't get the stuff outside to wash it off. So I'm going to go and cut open a barrel or something like that, and take a look at that and see if I can't just hang stuff and wash it off with solvent and whatnot. Block's going to be the hardest. Get some of that caked on. I'm thinking those bars leak in there. But I'm going to clean off those liners. Hopefully I can salvage one anyway, or at least 3 of them, because there's 3 is actually pretty good, and 3 pistons. Because like the one other tractor I got, because I got 3 of them. One's got a blown head gasket, and I may end up having, because I do got the head gasket I picked up for this here one, but then I found I can get a whole overhaul kit, comes with all the gaskets. But I do got the single head gasket, and that's all that. Oh, one other tractor needs, just it's got a blown head gasket. That's the way I bought it. But otherwise, it runs on 5 cylinders just fine. But it loses all the coolant. It sucks it down the cylinder, so it's drained out. So you can fire it up and move it, you know, run it for 30 seconds, whatever, and shut her down, or a minute maybe at the most. But yeah, put a head gasket in that thing, and I think the problem was they just didn't torque, because the engine was rebuilt not that long before that, so I'm thinking they didn't torque the heads good enough. And that seems to be one of the biggest problems I have when I come across blown head gaskets. If I check them before I pull them apart, I see if they got any torque, like I'll put it to their proper torque specs, see how much the bolts turn. And there's quite a few of them that they claim to have been rebuilt, and all the bolts are loose, well, at least a good portion of them. So, because I usually go around and round and round, and I'll keep going back and forth, do the whole sequence until that torque wrench doesn't move, then leave it sit overnight or even 2 days, and then go through it again, and more than once. And I've never had an issue of blowing the head gasket after that, and that's even with the, like with the small block gassers and stuff like that, where everybody, because I got a couple of those with blown head gaskets that are supposedly rebuilt. So, but anyways, enough rambling, I guess. I'm gonna cut this one off short, and I guess take some stretch wrap. I'm gonna wrap up this crankshaft and put it away. I already wrapped up the camshaft. No sense getting a whole bunch of crud on it. I'll leave the oil, you fill them on it right now instead of washing it down. But yeah, put it away for now, because I don't know how long, when I'm going to be able to get to this, putting this engine together, depending what it's going to cost. And I said, I got other bills I got to worry about paying, so may not be in the cards. Like I said, I should have worked on this. If I would have realized this engine had that coolant leak, I would have had it tore apart 4 years ago. So parts are a lot cheaper then. At least if I would have got the parts, tore it down, parked it in the corner, and just had the parts, I would have been a lot happier, because then I could just put it all together and away I go. But yeah, now it's going to be a struggle because everything costs so much more. Like, it's probably a good twice the price, 3 times the price it was 4.5 years ago when I tore this thing, opened this all up to start with. But at the time, engine ran great, so I didn't pay no mind to it, and I just figured, okay, it's got a couple oil leaks. Till in behind the loader frame, once I pulled the loader off, then once it was in here, I started tearing things apart, pulled the loader frame off, didn't pay much attention to it, washed the engine off, and well, now it happens. Then all of a sudden I notice, oh, what's this here stick? Pull the stick out and it's leaking. Well, that ain't good. So then I find all the other problems, and scored liners and scored pistons. I would have never known that was an issue the way it ran, but oh well, I guess it is what it is. But anyways, gonna leave it here, and I'll try to get this thing up for tomorrow. Like, it's Tuesday night here, so I'm gonna get this thing uploaded so you guys got something to watch in the morning. But anyways, we'll see you guys in the next one, and thanks very much for watching, and please subscribe if you like this kind of stuff. But until I get this engine together, I got other things I got to do with this tractor anyway, so I got other parts that need to be repaired. Like, it's got a crack in the radiator. I'm going to solder that up, and linkages for the hydraulic levers and stuff like that. I got to put the bushings in the front axle and do some cutting out of the, because I want to put new gauges in, and it didn't have all the gauges in this tractor. It's pretty much a basic one, but it had the knockouts to put full gauges in, so I want to put full gauges in here. And I don't like the idiot light theory, because that seems to be an issue anyway. So anyways, we'll leave it there, but there's other things I can work on while I'm waiting to get parts for this thing. So we'll get you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.